Hi everyone, this is StariAri. I'm here to give you guys your weekly energy report, but this time we're going to do it a little bit different. This time we are going to be asking our guides to present us a scenario that we would like to implement or work with this week. So it's going to be kind of like pick a card, but not really. I'm gonna be more detailed with this, but anyway, I'm using the Galactic Heritage deck as well as the Star Steve deck, and my new deck, thanks to Microvinity. Thank you so much, love, for this. It was a pleasant surprise. So this is the Maya Oracle. So we're gonna be using this. It's gonna be like it's pretty much energetic information and how to access it. Okay, so this one's going to be kind of like what you need to work on. This one's going to be what you need to work on when you work on something, what you're going to access. Okay. And this one's going to be who you need to work with. Okay. So we're going to start with the who first. That's just easier. So I'm going to put these over here on the side so that I can shuffle those later. So here we go. Let's see who we're going to work with. I think I'm going to choose 4 of them, so that it makes it easier for you guys to choose. Woo! So I'm just going to put them right here. So that's number 1. This is number 2. And holy cow, this is number 3. And this is number 4. All right. That's it. Now I'm gonna choose. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm gonna choose the thing that you need to work on so that you can access these portals over here. Okay. Bear with me. If you guys are hearing barking in the background, I apologize. That's my neighbor's dog. The dog is a puppy still, so it still needs a lot of training. To know how to bark when there is actual danger. Instead of barking at your neighbors that are coming home from work. All right. Let's see. I thought it was going to be a good idea to have you look at the deck like this, you guys, because I know I want to see things more clearly and more up close in I should use glasses, but I don't, I know, but whatever. Yeah, so I know my Virgo is like kicking in like, oh my God, these are not straight. This is not straight. That's not straight. Okay, so let's move on with pretty much the energy that you're going to be aligning with after you work with or through these things. Okay, so let's see. Ooh. Of course there's more to this deck, but I wanted to use this these are pretty much the explanations of the energies, so I wanted to go with this instead of with the what we call day signs in Aztec horoscope, but we call these the glimpse for the Mayans. So that one's that one. So again, this is all at random. So right now, take the time and choose which pile you want to work with. And again, it doesn't have to be just one. You could do multiple ones. You could do all 4. It's just in a different order, whatever. It's up to you. So this one is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And you guys can pause the video because I'm just going to continue. So you guys already chose. I'm going to put these over here so you can focus on number 1. So number 1, we have the first, the galactic guides that you're going to be working with are the Lyrans, specifically the Vegans. So these galactic guides, let me just try to arrange. Okay, so these are the vegan, and it says the present moment, right? And then it's logic and reasoning. So for this one in particular, the vegans, for example, it took them a while to get to a state of awareness and understanding that there's something more to life than just what we see here, right? What we perceive directly with our immediate senses instead of our extrasensory abilities, right? So it took them a while, and then but as soon as they got there, they were very accomplished. They were able to really understand duality as well as how to integrate it into their spiritual practices as well as in their community. So that being said, logic and reason, there might be a reason, but so you got this card because you might be seeing a situation in a very illogical way. There might be a lot of emotion involved, and the vegans, your vegan guides in particular, want you to really sit with that emotion and try to understand it. Like, where does it really come from? Explore it. Where does it flow from? Where's the root cause of that emotional feeling? I know somebody probably triggered you right now, possibly a significant other, or even your children, or a child, or even family, or even someone at work, or even someone on the internet. I don't know. So there's some type of sensitivity, a topic that you're very sensitive about, that you need to explore more and understand why, and it might be that you already know why, and it just needs to be addressed, that you need to look at the energy a bit more, like at a deeper understanding of where it really came from. It could be this lifetime to include past lifetimes that need to be healed when it comes to this, okay? It doesn't mean that you should be robotic about it. Doesn't mean that you should suppress your emotions about this situation. It just means that you have to really look at the bigger picture here, like how to address the situation in a more compassionate way, how to voice your opinion or your thoughts, or even tell someone how you feel, so that they could comprehend you, instead of them shutting you out because of the way that you are directing the emotions, right? The energy, right? A lot of people may not be aware of, or might not, it's not that they're not aware of it, it's just that the way that we say things, the way that we speak things, the way that we, the context of the information that we're giving might be, I don't know, like it might be not accepted by the other person at this time. It might trigger them too. So to, it's not to minimize arguments. It's going to happen, of course, but it's to really explore the root cause of this issue, emotionally speaking, for you, okay? So the vegans will assist you with this. They are very good at really analyzing situations such as these because they've been there, done it. They're also really good at giving you advice and protecting you while you go through the motion, okay, or the emotion, the layers of your emotions, okay? So I would highly recommend that you work with your lion guides, especially the vegans, for this as well, okay? Again, like I said, it's not about suppression. It's about really understanding, really feeling and understanding where it's coming from, okay? So here we go. Again, these are chosen at random, and this is awesome. This is like the perfect card, right? I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry. So this one, to me, I feel like this is how you feel inside internally, especially when you have a situation where you blow up, or you feel like you've offended someone, or you feel like your emotional states are unbalanced, like you feel like you're like just all over the place, that you're just flooded with grief and emotion, with anger, with resentment, with whatever it is, right? And you feel instantaneously apologetic about it. But I also feel like it's an understanding where it comes from is important, but not to be to the point that you're the one that's apologizing all the time, okay? You have to allow people to take responsibility for their own words, their own actions, as well as their inactions in situations such as these. So again, apologize when you feel you feel like you've definitely done something wrong. Like, take responsibility for the things that you've said that were harmful to someone. Okay, that's it. But don't apologize for feeling. Okay, for feeling the way that you felt. Okay, that's just, there's a difference there. Okay, so again, take this in I would say take this as one of many, many lessons learned when it comes to our interactions with other souls. It's difficult at this time, especially because there seems to be, different information coming in from all over the place that might put you in a state of awareness or heightened emotions because things are not going or the way that you thought they should go. Okay, this is really difficult for you to be grounded in your truth when this is happening. Okay, so, or if you're being influenced by someone else when this is happening too. Okay, so be mindful of what you're hearing, who's telling you what their motives are, what's triggering you. Okay, so next one is hologram. Perfect, I'm telling you. So this is a hologram. So when you look at the bigger picture, you'll find that everything that's going on in your life right now, it may not be very apparent at this time because you're going through it, but later on, when you look back, and I know everybody says, when you look back at the past and how you reacted and how you did whatever, you're gonna laugh at yourself, right? It's not about laughing at yourself. It's more about understanding why things happened the way that they did, right? What's the wisdom behind you feeling this way, this scenario that's playing out? What are you learning from all of this? What are you learning from your reaction and your interactions with other people? Are you learning that you're better off by yourself? Are you learning that it's better to be yourself? It's better to express yourself? Are you learning to speak up for your truth? Are you learning to be more empowered on your path and not have to rely on people who are flaky? What are you learning from the situation, right? It's super important for us to understand this and understand that this is a holographic universe, meaning that it is a projection of state of mind. It's as well as a projection of how things are supposed to work in our universe internally, right? So in so many ways we understand that, hey, we are within the hologram right now because we're learning this, right? And then when we step out and we see it for what it really is, then we have better awareness and more wisdom that we can take regarding the situations that we were in at that time, right? So another thing I want to express is that it's not that it's not real. It is very real for you as a soul because this is your soul's expression. This is what your soul needs for evolution. These scenarios are required for your soul to learn things. These people in your life are required for your soul's journey because they're our teachers as well as we are theirs. We're constantly flowing between becoming the teacher and the student. The same thing applies in our interactions with other people. And so it doesn't mean that it's meaningless. It just means that we have to go through these stages in order for us to finally see the truth of our soul and feel more empowered to take on the world, pretty much, right? So anyway, that's what I have for you guys. This is what you chose if you chose the first pile of cards. All right, so next one is number 2. So if you chose number 2, you chose the mirror reflection from the Zeta Reticuli, the Zeta Grays. Okay, so this is kind of like, to me, a lot of people have this negative interactions with them, with the beings, the grays, but I've had, I would say, not necessarily negative. It's more or less, I've been observed, and I was just like, okay, you can't really harm me because you're like this little and you're weak. So that's just how I perceive them. Um, Anyway, these guys, not all of them are like that. Not all of them that come from the reticuli constellation in particular. And this Zeta Reticuli is actually a star system in that constellation. Not all of them are this way. I know there's a lot of like a polarity there, just like there is polarity here on this earth. And there is a great expansion of consciousness hitting that. Actually, it's been there for a very long time. We're the ones that are delayed here. so, so whatever you're learning about at this point in your path is what you need to learn about these guys, of course. But I would say it's just to be mindful and to understand that they've already evolved. I mean, this is, again, we're just replaying. It's just a replay, it's just a rewinding of the same scenario, of the same polarization, of the same, us versus them little game, okay? You'll explore this even further when you begin to detach from that situation. But again, it is how it is for you. It is how it is for me. It's different now. Our relationship's different. All right. So, mirror reflection. So, remember, mirroring. What mirrors you? What type of behavior is within you? The way that you perceive the world? How is it playing out? So this is very important to remember, okay? So to me, we have a lot of growing to do, all of us do. To me, there are layers to growth, there are layers to healing. And so if you still have a problem with these guys, then there's another layer, okay? If you feel like, okay, I don't have any drama with them anymore, then that's beautiful. But we still have a layer, right? We still have a layer to learn. And our interactions with people here on this planet can be a very similar interaction that we have with these guys in the ether, okay, or in space when we go astral. So, or in our past lifetimes, and we're just remembering, those interactions. So, anyway, they are supposed to be polarized in this way in those scenarios, right? To teach us about that same topic, polarization. What does that even mean, right? So it's the opposites, okay, and also the same, okay. It's not necessarily separate from one another. It is just 1 degree away from from one another, okay. So when you think about yourself as a person and your moral code, and comparing it to someone that doesn't really have the same moral code, and you know who that is, that because it irks you, then you understand they have a different belief about their world around them, their interactions, and what actions they take towards meeting whatever goal it is that they set for themselves, right? So it could just be that something that bothers you about them, you might have it within you. You might have a very restrictive energy within you, a very like, I don't do this because X, Y, and Z, and because you probably had a similar interaction with someone, at an earlier state in your life that reflects the same, I would say energy as this person that you're perceiving right now. And so that bothers you, right? And so this is again a layer. It's a layer of trying to understand that people have their own path, as long as it's not directly affecting you in a negative way. Let them have their path, let them learn their lessons, let them fall on their face, okay. And that's what I feel this card will teach us, is remembrance of we are not perfect by no means at all. Like, we're human, we're having a human, you know, exploring the different aspects of humanity here. We are in a collective group consciousness here, and therefore there are a plethora of energies that are interacting with us daily. And so that's what these guys are reminding us. It's like, hey, you've been here before. Like, you might not think you have, but you have. You've been in our shoes before. You've been the bad guy before, and it might have been in somebody else's eyes. Okay, and it's hard to see ourselves that way sometimes, because sometimes we want to be like, oh, I'm morally superior. I've been nice to everyone, I've done no harm to anyone. But we haven't really seen ourselves when we were teenagers, for example. There's a driving force in the teenage mind. It's very different from adulthood, right? And so, and possibly even not seeing ourselves in someone else's shoes, possibly someone that we just don't get along with. That person that you might be judging right now might look at you in a judgmental way too, right? So you might be their villain, and they're your villain, right? So again, we're mirror reflections, okay? And so that's what they want you to remember. It's like, if you're interacting with us and you don't like us, remember, you've been there before. You've outgrown it. You've manifested into this reality, but that doesn't say that you haven't been over there before in a past life and been a gray before, or been one of those scientifically minded people who denies people's, you know, emotional connections, or is denying anything of the spirit, a suppressor energy. So again, we can't just we can't just say that it's never happened to us, because it has. It has. I'm first to admit that I've been mean to people, like when I was younger. Hell yeah, I was in a different mindset back then, and that's when these guys used to visit me a lot too, to try to teach me about who I was, like that dark, like the shadow side of me. My interactions with them has always been that way, where they've observed me and they've told me, observe yourself. Like, those words that you're saying with no filter, yeah, they might be funny to people around you, but not who you're directing it to. It might hurt them, right? Observe yourself, be mindful. So that's what this is all about, okay? Um, and again, this is not to beat ourselves up or anything, but it's just to be mindful of what we say, what we do, Or it could be a possibility that we have to remind ourselves that there's other people who perceive us in a different light than what we would like them to perceive us as. Okay, so moving on, we have, I don't know if we start, okay, yes. So we have the Forge Don't Follow card, which is super interesting, because we have a need to really direct energy, project ourselves as being independent, and being, at the same time, being a team player, right? And so we don't want to be unliked, right? Sometimes we have this problem with being unliked, and sometimes, our hearts, deeply inside our heart, I would say there's some people who are more able to connect to that region of their heart than others. But we want to be liked. We are creatures that are very social, and so if we are not interacting with like-minded individuals, or we don't feel like we're being heard or respected or understood, then that affects us in a negative way, that doesn't help our self-esteem at all, right? Like, you might be pondering, why am I not liked? Like, or sometimes at first you'll be like, you'll get upset, like, who cares if they don't like me, right? Like, then you'll be like super sassy and like, well, F them if they don't like me, right? So, all right, so this is something important, okay? This is something that we have to learn, okay? We have to learn to balance ourselves and our energies, as well as even our perceptions of our interactions with others. And so forging your path will help you with this, because it's like you do want to be in you do want to be understood. You do want to be in a leadership role, not meaning like dictating everything, but more like being understood and heard and listened to, especially if you're consulting, or your people are coming to you for consultations. I guess you're considered a leader in that position. And again, it feels like you're having this internal split between wanting you to be yourself but holding yourself back at the same time, because again, if you do express the way that you feel, and then people are just going to look at you like, wow, you're crazy, like, or you think that, right? And so to me, I feel like the Zeta Grace can help you with that, because they really didn't care for a very long time what we thought of them. All they wanted to do is explore the universe and get to the bottom of how things work. And so to me, I feel like they would be like very much, because they're so detached in that point in time. They were very detached, of course. I'm sure you guys know this, that they're like very like like oh, they don't like me, okay, whatever. Like, I'm gonna do my thing here, right? And so this is what this means, okay? You doing your thing and not really caring what other people say, as long as you accomplish your goals, right? And understanding that we can do this in a compassionate way. We don't have to step on anybody's toes. We don't have to offend anybody. We don't have to, be assholes to them. We don't have to be mean, like, or like stuck up, or ignore them, or things like that. We don't have to do any of that stuff in order for us to be successful and to really project our leadership qualities. Okay, so lead from the front, all right, not from the rear. That's something that I learned a lot in the military. It's like, I'd rather be respected than somebody's buddy. You know what I mean? Like, that's, at least that's how I did things when I was in the military. Is like, respect my authority. I'll be kind to you if you're kind to me. I'll look out for you, but don't mess up. That makes me look like an idiot for looking out for you. That's, at least that's my leadership quality. And that's how I did things back then, when I had like over 30 people under me. So it was like my subordinates and stuff. And I was definitely very Virgo-ish in the way that I process things, as well as the way that I dictated things. Like, I was very fair, but also they knew if they messed up, they weren't gonna like get any breaks from me. Thankfully, nobody messed up. I got really lucky. All right, so here we go. Dreamer and dreamed. Okay, so el soñador y... don't you just hate it when people misspell things? El soñador y lo soñado. O el soñado, I would say. Not lo soñado. Whatever. Whatever. I guess you could say it other way, but me, Spanish. But so this is the dreamer and the dreamed, or the dreamer of dreams. I always like to say this is a very shamanic inspired connection here, the portal, where if you are having situations happening in your life, like I said before, the mirror effect, it is possibly because you're dreaming into this reality, the things that happen in other realities. So interdimensionally speaking, you're traveling into these places and um, learning things from your past, or possibly from an aspect of you that it still exists there, and then you're bringing it back into this reality. And if you don't remember your dreams, this is how usually your this is how your guides do things. Okay, like especially if you don't remember your dreams, like if you don't remember the information or the wisdom, or like it's like your premonition, right? It's like premonition dreams in particular. You are pretty much um, moving these aspects into this reality for understanding, and also for integration. And that's why things happen. Okay, in Toltec shamanism, that's how we're taught. We dream our dream. We dream the scenario right now, like we're dreaming our life, right? Where we're going and exploring the, you know, dream world or spirit world, and we might have aspects of ourselves, uh, that exist there, that are having a different reality, and then we bring that scenario back in here so we can learn this, right? So we can learn it, so we can integrate, and so it plays out in our interactions with other people in this reality, and in so many ways you feel like a sense of deja vu, like I've been here before, or I've seen this person before, I've interacted in this way before, I've had this conversation before, things like that, right? So you'll have that sense of like, what the what's going on here, right? And so this is what it is. It's everything's playing out like there it should play out. Okay, you've dreamed this into reality. You've dreamed the mirror effect between you and someone else in this reality, so you can learn from it, so you could grow from it, and in so many ways integrate it, because you've probably most likely had a past life interaction with this person, and so now it's playing out again. Okay, so now the cycle is prepared to be understood and integrated and closed. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys for this one. All right, so the next one is for number 3. So for this one we have, we also have more vegan. Okay, so spiritual technology for this one. So this one's pretty, I feel like this is something necessary for the world right now. It is necessary for us to work with frequency, to really work with it, and intertwined different frequencies into music, different frequencies into even like computation, like the stuff that you hear a computer sound like, right? It has a tone to it, right? There are tones that are interacting with us daily that I've personally felt are lower vibrational, where they keep you in a low vibe. There are tones that you might not hear readily, but you feel a shift. Like, for example, music, popular music nowadays is laced with different tones, different vibes, and different frequencies. Some of them are meant to program the mind, especially the subconscious. Okay, and so if you don't readily hear it, you might feel it after you stop hearing the song. Your emotional state might change while you're hearing the song. You might be super happy and go lucky, and all of a sudden feel super depressed and upset, or very angry and wanting to rage. So be mindful of that. This is something that the vegans have continuously tried to help us with, where use of like binaural beats, for example, will be very important for us, especially if we're feeling like that, where we've listened to a song and all of a sudden we feel like really, really bad, or really exhausted, or whatever, just in a foul mood. And then so I highly recommend that you listen to a higher frequency binaural beat to help you with really changing the your brain waves once more to elevate your dopamine levels, your feel good chemicals. Okay, highly recommend. Okay, and then that's what pretty much what you're gonna do here. Whoever got this card is probably going through these things, but you're realizing this because your one of your missions here on this planet is to bring awareness to this and to make beautiful music to raise the vibration on the planet itself, to include the life on this planet. Okay, you could even do this with plants. Like if you feel like for some reason one of your plants is dying off in your house, right? Put some soothing music next to it. Or even with your water, your drinking water, if you feel like there's contaminants in it or something's going on that it's not cleansed, and put some beautiful frequencies next to it, and you could even do this for your own, like for whomever it is that you're interacting with. Like listen to music that's more uplifting in your car, or even create your own. And this is what they want you to actually do, is create your own music, through tone, through your voice, through musical instruments if you have them. If you don't, it's okay. I have a bunch of them. I have like this beautiful, like look at this one. I like this chime. So these are their Kashi chimes. If you guys want to purchase them, they're excellent for meditation. This one in particular is the fire one. But anyway, that's what they want you to understand and work with them with creating something like this. So here we go. You got Star Keeper. So learning your heritage is super important at this time. Learning who you are, where you've been, and what you're here to do will help you with this, especially creating, this connection of becoming the bridger of worlds. I like calling starseeds that because that's what we are, is bridger of worlds. That we are here to anchor in the information from our star family, to teach others to connect in that manner with their own star lineage, and so that we can empower one another, so that we can finally feel that shift that needs to happen for this world, and moving into fifth dimensional density and things like that. But anyway, I feel like this is something really important for you as a star seed, to understand how frequency works, how frequency can heal, how frequency can move mountains as well. Move like crazy. Like a lot of people are trying to figure out how those monoliths got moved from God knows where, these quarries like thousands of miles away, to like these locations that are power centers or portals to interdimensional worlds, stargates, as I like to call them. And so you having this knowledge, and actually you do have it, but downloading it and using it can help you access this power, okay? To power to heal, the power to move mountains, like I said before, okay? So new myth, nuevo mito. Okay, so new myth. So creating your new myth, creating a new story about who you are, what you've been, and how these interactions and how this these past lives apply to this current lifetime, what you're here to do, right? So a new myth will be an exploration of these things, and understanding how this all can assist you with any problems that you might have right now, especially with your own connections to the higher realms and your own belief in yourself, as well as your belief in your own intuition. It's super important, because I have this feeling that you watching this, you're probably like thinking like, nah, I can't do that. No way. how am I going to begin? You know, and I would say begin by calling in your guides. Begin by having an interaction with them daily, like talking to them, like as if you're talking to your best friend here in front of you. Okay, even in your head, like, hey, my, star family, can you help me with this? And then recording start recording any information that you receive. I would say that's one of the best practices to do, because when you do have this sense of understanding the symbology that they are using to interact with you, then now you know who's who, right? You know, okay, my Vegans send me messages this way. My Pleiadians send me messages this way, and that's how you get to know them, okay? So that's what I would recommend. All right, next one is number 4. So we have the Essassani. So these Essasanis are usually considered kind of like nomadic energy, interdimensional beings that are constantly going in and out of everywhere and they exist everywhere. They're observers but also interactors. They're just willing and able to do a lot of things. They've learned a lot through different interactions with other beings. And the thing with spiritual sovereignty is that even though they learn so much, they still manage to make it their own. That's super important, you guys. I know there's a lot of people who still fall into the I need a leader scenario, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong because you're learning right now. You're being the student, but after a while you're gonna be the teacher. Okay, after a while you're gonna learn as much as you need to learn, and then move on with your life. But just be ready, like for any repercussions when it comes to this. I'll give you guys a little story. So when I was younger, of course, I was always the student learning from my family on herbology and stuff like that, as well as when I became a little bit older, like say like after I had my kid. It's like she was like the reason why I even started to pick up on my psychic abilities again. So anyway, so I started to read more on clairvoyance and my ability to see things as a medium, as well as like claircognizance, where I download things automatically without even asking. And so managing that, I was learning how to manage it because it was overwhelming at times. And so that being said, I started learning from different teachers, and a lot of them had a really good teacher-student relationship, meaning that I'm going to teach you this and you're going to apply it to however you want it, and they weren't forcing me, right? And that's the good thing, because as growing up as a kid, my mom was one of my biggest teachers when it comes to forcefulness, as well as dictation. I'm going to dictate everything in your life and you have to listen. So I hated that for a very long time. And so I always looked for teachers who taught me things and let me do as I wish with that information, without judging me, right? And then because I wasn't interacting in this level, spiritually speaking, with my mother for a very long time until recent years, I ran into people who were in the same path, where they were spiritual teachers, so to speak, but they had a very direct and dictatorship-like energy that when they realized that I actually knew more than what they presumed, because that's one of my things as a Virgo rising, as I don't really share much about what I know, because I'm just here to learn from you. I don't like stepping on people's toes. I am, as a student, I'm always going to be a student, but I don't like sharing my knowledge yet. if I'm learning from someone. But anyway, when I had enough of the lessons and things like that, and my soul wanted to move on with it, with whatever was going on, then I had them become like my mom, where I'm gonna tell you what to do, you're wrong, and I'm just like, oh, here we go again. And so I just want to let you guys know, no matter what, wherever you are on your journey, you're always free to do as you please, to gather as much as information as you please, and do whatever the heck you want with it. No one can tell you what to do, okay? And that's what the Yesasani are here to tell you, is like, go and explore. Like, if you feel that way about someone, or they're trying to force you to see things their way, then I would highly recommend to listen to that red flag. Learn what you need to learn from this interaction and move on. Okay. So that's what you guys are going to definitely learn. And of course, here we go, the golden children. So this is a portal entryway for those birthing in, and working with your own golden child or your inner child is definitely important. It's like, to me, I always see inner child work as working with like a Gemini energy, because they're like the most like childlike out of all of the zodiacs, because they can be serious, but they're very like, I'm gonna like play a trick, or I'm gonna explore this, and I'm gonna mock it or make fun of it, or things like that. So they definitely are in tune to their inner child, and they're also very much in tune to the coyote medicine, or the coyotl. And so I would definitely, if you have a Gemini placement somewhere, or even a Piscean or Sag, I would say, placement somewhere in your chart, explore that even further, and activate it more, because I feel like this is something that you will get you through these scenarios where you might be told, you're wrong, your intuition is false, you don't know more than I do. It helped me, believe me, I laughed at it. I had like the craziest, luckily I had friends on the inside that would tell me like what people were saying about me, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I was like, wow, dude, like they're thinking that they're able or capable of having such strong energy to overpower me, supposedly, and in the ether or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm over here just having fun, like I don't feel a thing. I'm over here on vacation. And my friend was sending me information, like screenshots of the craziness, and I'm just like, yo, dude, these people need help. And so that's what got me through it. The inner child, funny, like, oh my god, is this really happening? These adult women who are over 40, actually some of them were like 50 years old, thinking that they can harm me or anyone else who was my friend somehow energetically, and do all these spells. And I love you guys so much for thinking that way, because it makes me feel like you guys are definitely doing this to yourselves. Like, like I know how energy works, and you're finding out right now how it works. Like, you try to harm other people energetically, it's coming back to you. It's not actually touching them. So that's what, like, my I think I would say my mutable placements for it, because if I wasn't mutable, if I were like really a fixed sign, or maybe even a cardinal, I would say fixed sign, I would get pissed off at that. But I was just like, wow, these girls are like acting like they're like in some type of like comic book. But yeah, so maybe you're going through something similar. Maybe you're going through like an awareness that there's somebody in your life that is holding you back, or trying to make you feel like you're less than, or especially when it comes to your psychic abilities and your spiritual path, and that's not fair, okay? And that's why it's important to work with the SSani on spiritual sovereignty. So resolution of duality. So this is pretty much why this is all happening, right? We're going through changes. We're interacting in different levels of consciousness. We're interacting in this duality. This is duality right here, and then we're interacting in the fourth dimension, and then higher and higher realms, right? And so that being said, at least you acknowledge that this is happening. That you're like, okay, you know what? This is happening because it's teaching you that you don't need someone to tell you how to spirit. That's what I like saying. Don't tell me how to spirit. Meaning, don't tell me what to do with my spiritual journey. It is unique to you. Okay, it is definitely what your soul requires. Okay, but it's also your soul will tell you. Your soul is going to guide you from now on. You don't need anybody else to guide you. Yes, you want, if you want to interact with other like-minded people and exchange stories and learn from one another, is perfectly fine. But you don't need a leader. Okay, this is what this means. It's like, you know what duality is, and you know how to interact in this reality now. And so that being said, a lot of these scenarios of like someone trying to dictate how to live your life or what to believe in, these are over. Okay, and you're pretty much mastered it, in my opinion. But yeah, you'll only master it if you are definitely connecting to your inner child. Okay, and definitely connecting to your spiritual sovereignty. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. So if you guys want to book a private reading with me, I do have Galactic Heritage reading, which is pretty much me channeling your guides, your galactic star family, and give you pretty much like a composition of like who you are as a multidimensional being, as well as giving you information about past lives in these different places. 6-card draw, and so I connect in that way. I channel the information to you, and I record it, and then I send it to you via email, as well as with your card spread. And then I tell you, okay, at this time you are definitely connecting to this particular star family more than anything, right? We always fluctuate. It depends on where we're at on our journey. We are born into a certain star lineage, but then that doesn't mean that we remain with that star lineage only. It just means that this is the soul's karma mainly, right? Mainly where it's coming from. And then as we move through our life, as we interact with other star beings or star seeds, we start to access other other star family, and to help us with remembering any gifts that we had in the past, and to anchor that into this reality. Okay, so that's what that one is all about. But if you guys want to do any other readings or even an energy healing, just go check out Clear Sight Consulting website, and I linked it on the comment section. Actually, not the comment section, but in the description box below. So thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye bye.